My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com. All right, crossing path on that video while directed light is present. I'll go ahead and capture that license plate. You see a demon and what is a small little pickup truck. That's crossing path and entering on surveillance camera inside of B&G Plaza, 94150Y2. You also see the demons of Aramark Corporation and Omnitrans who are monitoring. Directed light in the shade next to me and moving across the side of the building of Shiro's Liquor. The fake sun is directly over my head as I'm also pointing out the ongoing continuity of that impossibility of that being the sun, which is speaking to the criminal conduct of such commercial actors in concert with the people of the state, who I will be documenting by license plate while they are also molesting and terrorizing while crossing path under that light source, which is in no way any form for what is Star Trek-like light activity streaming in the shade across buildings and across the asphalt, which is never occurring even if that was the sun, which it is not. 8UKL071 6VED 818. And in this lengthy video that I captured, I'm covering a lot of grounds because I was at multiple places, and I'm reminding you of what are very pivotal points while the state engages in providing the ongoing direct evidence with which I'm going to place those third parties in federal prison that engaged in criminal summoning, including Jay Burnett. And you are also talking about what is a prosecution of officers that engage in the P.O.C. and terrorism in concert with the people who arrive pursuant to criminal summoning. The third parties and law enforcement alike, you're understanding how that system works. They're going to be subject to that federal prosecution as well. Burnett present pursuant to what is an ongoing intent, and it's not just Burnett, all of them. Officer Gerber, Officer Avila, and Officer Burnett are present pursuant to what is an intent to engage in harassment and intimidation. This particular officer that engaged in kidnapping, assault, and battery, all right, and legally entering inside of my car while you're hearing what is the lying speech of this Officer Jay Avila, who says, oh yeah, if I hadn't opened the door, then they would have walked away. That's a lie. What Officer Jay Burnett did on May 4, 2019, while I'm sitting in my vehicle that was fully covered up, while there was no legal cause for him whatsoever, no warrant and no exception applicable for him to enter my vehicle, you have what is, and also the admission of my presence inside of that vehicle by doing so, what is an illegal search where he breaks into my car, and then he physically attacks me, and then engages in what is the exercise of fictitious authority under the law. It has nothing to do with, oh, you would have stopped, you would have left me alone, or you would have went about your way, or you're not being detained. That's a lie. And the arrival of police is grounds for what is an escalation of a non-situation. All right, let me be clear, and it's not different where the entity engages in false allegations, which are also criminally defamatory. While that pattern of conduct is underway, you're going to federal prison. All right, license 5PBY123. And like I said, you have what is that audible activity. You hear what Officer Avila is speaking to, and I'm referencing my podcast that was published with regard to yesterday, February 1st, 2022, 8FED335, and stating what is untrue and what is also the direct opposite of what has been documented. And you have what is the intent to engage in what is harassment, while you include officers who have engaged in a pattern of kidnapping as you are arriving pursuant to what is criminal summoning, all right, which is nothing other than an attempt to engage in what is escalation of a non-environment, easily resulting in what is a kidnapping. While you are exercising fictitious authority, you are the criminal engaging in surveillance and a psychopath. All right, asking questions, understand first of all, these are demons, and they're psychopaths that are literally aware of everything that occurred before they arrived. That's why you're understanding the malice, okay? Officer Jay Burnett, again, very well, just like he did on May 4th, 2019, pulled out his cell phone and played back the argument that occurred between Tracy Banks and I inside of her allegedly private residence. It's not. It's a third-party facilitating venue. In the same way, Officer Jay Burnett, Officer Jay Avila, and Officer Gerber very well could pull out their cell phone and replay the argument where that third party is engaging in making a phone call to dispatch stating that I'm taking pictures, which is no criminal act whatsoever. Not only that, while she is verbalizing a threat to harm me and doing so, which I'm gonna prosecute her for that because she's the government engaging in P.O.C. You're engaged in criminal summoning. You are molesting with directed light. You're stalking and terrorizing with the state that's stalking by helicopter, while you are also exercising hostility because I'm documenting your criminal conduct, which is a legal process that you will be subject to, and you're not going to obstruct that. You'll go to federal prison for trying to obstruct that. All of this is documented, and you have these psychopaths surrounding a vehicle while molesting with light, asking questions that they know the answer to. And just like Officer Burnett did on May 4th, pulled out his cell phone and replayed an argument while he was artificially engineering false allegations, all right? Acting in concert with Tracy Banks. Fake sun over my head at her apartment on May 4th, 2019. Fake sun over my head while I'm in her vehicle upon taking off from that location at 630 North Fern and remaining over me in her vehicle while she drives to this plaza, which B&G Plaza, which is in no way the actual sun. That is, again, at this time, 8:47 a.m., remaining over me in a window on a bus while I'm en route to what is the Pomona Transit Center. Okay, stationary presence over this single venue and following from where it is that I wake up in the morning, remaining wherever it is that I stay for the day. That is how you have what is not actually the sun on the opposite side of this street at the Ovid Family Community Library when I'm in Ontario, which is a grand departure from being anywhere present and setting in the city of Fontana above the Fontana Lewis Library, which I've also documented as well for XAP 558. Like I said, and that is all relevant to what is a federal prison for those actors engaging in criminal summoning, obstruction of justice while federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. That's what criminal summoning is, 8 UKP 924. And you're witnessing and understanding how this entire criminal system works. Summoning is a heavily used component to what is seeking essentially to engage in kidnapping. The entity is acting with law enforcement who want to be present visibly. And so you're talking about what is a demon wearing a law enforcement uniform and appearing to, but you're actually not appearing to, understand this is the form, but I've broken all this down, but this is the form of these demons. Appearing to, they're supposed to appear on the outside as though they are engaged in some lawful execution of their duty while they are ignorant about what actually happened, even though you received a phone call about what happened and that's why they called you, but nonetheless, arriving and feigning ignorance as to what happened. Oh, I just want to get your side of the story. But you understand that this is all a malicious system by dangerous psychopaths who are engaging in surveillance, where directed light, where the pattern of conduct of stalking by those same law enforcement agencies, where the ongoing stalking with light is documented, amplification of audible activity. You cannot hear any train at 630 North Fern. You have what is the sun and the moon directly over me at that address where you're present, engaging in that form that doesn't exist. License plate 1234513, bus 1220 Omnitrans. You have at, by the way, 8:49 a.m. You have what is the entity engaging in what is all manner of the pattern of conduct, and you have what is, again, holding on to the only form that they have, but that form doesn't exist. That form is unpersuasive. That form is actually what is the direct evidence for your prosecution, and you're going straight to federal prison, all right? Because you're understanding the malice behind engaging in criminal summoning. And yes, that is directly relevant to waking up this morning and capturing that video of what is not possibly the sun, hovering right over into where I am inside of that vehicle in front of 630 North Fern, all right? And then following street for street, turn for turn to the B&G Plaza, where you are in no way whatsoever, as shown on January 22nd, 2022, that's not the sun that remains at this time still at that Starbucks at Vineyard and Holt, 6AAF 738. Nor is this the actual sun that is documented on January 23rd, 2022, setting on literally the opposite side of this same plaza after 4 p.m. All right, let alone you're talking about what is across the street at the Ovid Family Community Library, north of this location, where the state is engaging in keeping a fake sun all day long, 7 PWV 420. And by all day long, I mean all day long. And it's not just 2022, 2021, where I would arrive at that venue of the library even before 9 o'clock, and the state is setting it, the fake sun, in alignment with that library after 4 p.m., after 5 p.m., in perfect alignment as though the sun is setting there. All right, that is to be analyzed with what the state is doing with the fake sun while I travel from Ontario at B&G Plaza to Pomona to Fontana, where I was not going last year. You're talking about what is the ongoing comparison to what is Mercy House. And I was speaking to the impossibility then, because I established then the actual sun is not remaining over Mercy House while I'm on that property and I'm facing south, all right? And the state is keeping a fake sun over my head while I'm at that property, over my head as I walk to and from that property, and then remaining all day long over me at the Ovid Family Community Library the next day when I don't go to Mercy House. All right, it is the same pattern. It is mutually exclusive. It is the same ongoing, continuous, and consistent documentation. And guess what? That is still relevant to what the state is doing 365 days later. Well, a year later, because it's more than 365 days. This is time of year. We're in the winter time. All right. So you're talking about what is the same relevant documentation where I'm at Mercy House and then I go to Pomona. That's mutually exclusive. Where I go to Starbucks at 111 North Vineyard Avenue, but I'm at Mercy House and I'm showing you what the state is doing all day long or following me to and from that venue, that is what you are recalling. That is how all of that documentation works together. And then you have those who want to engage in criminal summoning while that direct evidence is hovering over your venue, you're going to federal prison, period. All right. While I'm outside of your venue and the state is rising a fake sun over my head, following where it is that I wake up, you're going to federal prison. And that's exactly what I was pointing out. 6MCM497, 7N10184. They are also violent sex offenders engaging in a molestation with directed light while I'm inside of that vehicle, just like you saw on video as I captured today, while I'm standing in the shade and directed light is appearing, impossible light activity. That's exactly what they're doing inside of that vehicle, where, by the way, you are at that same location where not 24/7, because I'm not sleeping 24/7, where on a daily basis, where I'm at that venue, at that vehicle, 4PES006, where I am documenting the ongoing terrorism with directed light, and you have what are the asinine act of appearing as though you are some credible state actor as law enforcement, where that ongoing pattern of conduct is already documented. You don't have any credibility. That's why I sit there and I document, because they're going to federal prison. Because you need to understand how the system works. All right, so I'm sitting there entertaining the nonsense of these psychopaths because they're demon possessed. All right, this is the same vehicle that I'm sleeping in where impossible light activity is shooting inside of the car, just like you see shooting onto the asphalt in the shade, while that which is not possibly the sun is on the opposite side of the building. All right, not even in conformity to acting like, oh, that's sunlight because the sun is, no, it's in the shade. It has nothing to do with that. Those are demons. And those are demons that are stalking, driving past that vehicle that all of them know that I'm sleeping in it. And then this demon with the license plate beginning with 8NNF, who I documented last night by image and by voice and on video, you have what is this demon that is present, engaging in that pattern of conduct and having the audacity to intensify her own federal prosecution, waging a verbal threat. And I'm going through all this because I'm going to document more third parties this morning under this fake sun while it's shining. And let me be clear, it's the same fake sun, the same central presence over my head, while Satan itself is covering it up with clouds. It does not change. All right, it is not different. It's the same conduct when I'm in the city of Fontana. And you recall that? That was not very long ago. That was just days ago. Again, and the demons of the Fontana Police Department are right there while the state is covering up what is nonetheless an equally fake sun over my head while I'm standing on the sidewalk facing the Miller Amphitheater. Fontana Lewis Library is on the opposite side. And what do you see while I get on the internet at that Fontana Metrolink train station after leaving, documenting those demons of the Fontana Police Department? The fake sun that remained over me the whole time is then brightly shown. You're talking about what is moving around the clouds that are covering up what is the fake sun that is Satan itself in the environment. That's how you have the creation of what is identified as light activity occurring in the sky. Okay? You don't have the government that's got fans and engaging in pulling with strings of some light. No. This is Satan. That is Satan engaging in what I have identified for you, the demonic behavioral pattern, because the demons such as 73418E1, they engage in the same exact pattern of conduct, stalking with light activity creation. License plate 1459926. And so, like I said, you have what is the relevance to this, because this is documented on my podcast on February 1st, 2022, just last night. And also the criminal summoning at Ovid Family Community Library yesterday with Officer Guerrero, 8SDY684, and 2 other officers present, and they're in directed light. The fake sun is over the Ovid Family Community Library. Let me point something else to you. 8:25 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning, and you're talking about what is north at 215 East C Street, where the state is setting a fake sun. That is not the sun. That is remaining. That is the evidence of remaining with a fake sun on one street in one city for the duration of the day, and that is Pacific Standard Time. So that is, by the way, 3:57 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as I documented just days ago, after it's over the building at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, you're talking about what is 6:57 Eastern Standard Time, which is exclusive with regard to what is the unmistakable presence of what is supposed to be the sun. It's not. But that is also to the exclusion of any other state, county, location, while the state kept a fake sun, 8XJW782. That is not the ubiquitous presence and ability to see in every other state, everywhere else where it was also a sunny day while it's remaining over the Ovid Family Community Library. No, it's not. That is Satan. All right. And let me be clear. Satan is prosecuting its own means, making its own bed at this regard. I've already shown you the P.O.C. You're going to federal prison. 7 NGA 938, 8 NNX 586. That's exactly what's going on. 8 MPL 909. So like I said, I want to be clear because this is documentation that is published in 2021, 2020, including in 2019. You're talking about what is remembering where I was documenting. I'm in Upland in 2021, documenting the Upland Public Library after Ovid engaged in Ovid Family Community Library that are monitoring me while my panties are down, okay? And then engaging in what is showing hostility while they're aware of what I'm documenting. And you have every right, and you are going, that is the process. You're going to document the government that's placing you under surveillance and sexually violating you while doing so. All right. And engaging in surveillance in the bathroom is only one of the major methods of sexual violation of a pervert. Any other pervert putting some sound mechanism, engaging and listening to you, a disrobe, engaging and listening to what you're doing inside of that private space is a sex offender. That's what the government is. All right. And let me be clear. That's the inherent character of Satan itself. And these are the demon possessed engaging in that sexual violence as an entity. All right. That is grounds for what is a whole other level of what is a sex offender that needs to be contemplated under federal law. And that's exactly what I advocate. That's exactly what is the purpose of that documentation, which the entity is not going to avoid. You're not going to intimidate your way out of justice. You're not going to obstruct and harass or engage in criminal summoning. As you want to threaten liberty, you're going to lose yours. You're going to federal prison. And that's what that documentation shows. And so I nonetheless have the benefit of documenting in Upland, California, September, October, November, as I'm frequenting what is the Upland Public Library. Let's be clear. October 2019, I'm still living in my vehicle before the Ontario Police Department, the same demons that I documented again yesterday, engage in stealing it with the people of the state acting via bill and wax toe. While this same exact pattern of conduct is underway, and I have documented the presence of the fake sun as it would remain as I lived in my car at what is 713 North Vine Avenue. Let me be clear, that in and of itself there is no way ever where you're having some sort of migration from that location to what the library as it's over me, as I would walk to the library and then remain at the library, exit the library and walk back. The state's fake sun is directly over my vehicle in the evening. There is no time of year or time of day analysis where that is going to make sense at all. It doesn't. And it's the same with, for example, just the other day, January 27th, where at 8:19 a.m. I captured what is the fake sun over 507 North Euclid Avenue. I was documenting in August and September of 2021 of what is the state's fake sun over that Starbucks, following me to that Starbucks in the morning. And upon criminal summoning, where Officer Guerrera, that's documented yesterday, all right, is present pursuant to what is criminal summoning, and the state's fake sun is over that parking lot, remaining for the duration of the day, in other words, on what is Euclid Avenue, not Holt Boulevard, not being over above the Ovid Family Community Library or on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library over me. It is directly over me on Euclid Avenue at 507 North Euclid Avenue. All right. Let me be clear. There is no time of year or change within the time of year or time of day where it's going to result such that it's actually based on the time of year that it's going to be the actual sun's going to be captured at 8:19 in the morning directly over the building of 507 North Euclid Avenue, whereas in the fall of 2021 it was present both in the morning as I would walk down G Street, either coming from the museum, walking north toward 507 North Euclid Avenue, or coming from the vehicle that I slept in, walking west on G Street and then south down Euclid Avenue, where the state was following in those mutually exclusive directions to arrive and remain over me at 507 North Euclid Avenue, keeping that fake sun over for the duration of the day, moving directed light inside of that venue. All of this is the absence of any light source that's ever going to be present. That is during this time, August, September, and October? You're talking about, August and September mostly, for that specific venue of 507. That's not ever coexisting with what is being over the drive-through section of the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. This is just an example of how you are understanding what is direct. It's clear evidence. I mean, it is unmistakable. All right, that has nothing to do with time of year. Why do I use time of year? Because the sun as we know it, the sun that we understand, again, that gaseous ball of fire, All right, and there is only one. The sun that we know is not the light source that's hovering over me. You are understanding the reality, contrary to what we are taught about the actual sun that we know, which, by the way, is what global warming is premised upon. This is not the actual sun. It's not possibly the actual sun. And that's why you use that analysis, time of day, time of year, and also the common sense aspect of look at how fast this light source is moving, and it's remaining exclusively over me when I'm in a vehicle. But when I'm not in a vehicle, you see those vehicles drive by and the stationary presence of that light source, that doesn't coexist. It's not both remaining still and then it's some illusion where it's actually moving, but it's actually remaining still. No, I am actually at East End Avenue and Holt Avenue in the city of Pomona, where you see the fake sun moving necessarily in real time while I'm on the bus of Omnitrans going westbound to the city of Pomona. It's not some illusion, whereas it's actually remaining stationary over the B&G Plaza all day long, but it just looks like it's moving. No, and that doesn't even make any sense, and it's impossible. I'm not going to see it if that was the actual sun remaining stationary in Ontario over the B&G Plaza. But you already know that because I have video after video of the state moving a fake sun over this same venue at this same time where I've already left, or I'm passing it up, or I am remaining stationary where I'm at different locations where at the same time I remain stationary at this location. All of this is speaking to what is the impossibility of that being the sun, and that's how you're understanding what is Satan itself that is operating over the environment, and Satan itself engaging in what is light activity. These are the tactics of the demon possessed. Light activity. Covering up the fake sun with clouds and shining it. This is called making it brighter and dimmer. This is light activity, making light dynamic. This is what demons are doing. That is a variation, understand. That's an iteration of what is flashing lights, hazard lights. Understand that. All right, this is the ongoing P.O.C, and this is what literally, as Satan is witnessing me, it reveal his very real existence, because, let me be clear, that entity, that demonic entity, Satan itself, would have you remain ignorant about it. But let me be clear, not only am I relaying the truth to you, bare bones, okay, which is my personality. I'm very frank and very upfront, okay? So, but, you know, I can make it palatable for, you know, digestible for those. But like I said, this is very raw, and this is very real, and it's actually a very disturbing and disgusting as I'm revealing it. And so you have what is naturally going to be the passion that is erupted as you are listening to me document. But again, nonetheless, I do maintain my composure. You're talking about what is listening to, my example for that is you hear the demon that's engaging in, and let me be, when you hear this demon who's going to federal prison last night talking about she's going to F me up, let me tell you something, what that's about. The same demon that you heard at Fontana Lewis Library talking about, what's up, what you, like, this is Pippi Longstocking, like she's actually going to do, let me tell you something. The entity would like for me to lose my composure and engage in hitting. And guess what? As unfair as that would be, because you are the one that's monitoring, this is the reality, but this is how Satan works, and this is how this demonic system works. The entirety of that act that is initiated upon me while I am documenting, which is no violation of the law, and why you have unfounded hostility to that, and talking about you're calling the cops, you're going to federal prison. What is the reaction to your license plate? Guess what? Your license plate is always on the outside of your car. Everybody is seeing that. It's documented on traffic cameras. It's documented on surveillance cameras where you're driving around. And so what? So what? Okay, I'll tell you so what. So what? Because they know that what they're doing, and they know what they're being documented for. That's what so what is. But while you engage in waging threats, because you're doing so in the position of the state, while you engage in that, and I document it, and let me be clear, that is also some sort of bait by Satan that would love for me to engage in that. Satan is below me. Satan is literally under my feet. Satan is literally following me around, okay? And you were talking about what is none other than blowing hot air. Not only is it audible activity, the substance of it is threatening content while you're monitoring with that audible activity, while you're molesting with directed light. Understand how that's prosecuted. You're an exceedingly violent sex offender who was touching all over my body for a criminal purpose and then threatening my safety while you're sexually violating me. That's exactly how you're going to be prosecuted, because that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly how I'm going to prosecute her. And you have what is threatening my safety. You'll F me up. Why? Because I'm reading a license plate. What are you, reading my lips while you're in the car driving? What are you focused on? And so what if I'm taking a picture? So what? Get over it. You're talking about engaging in surveillance. Satan cannot handle it while you are documenting. You can't handle it. But that's how judgment works, by the way. Like I said, nothing warranting what is summoning of the police. And the police know exactly what they were told on dispatch. Someone's taking a picture, and so what? So what? license 1545907 under the fake sun at 9:05 a.m. Omnitrans, you're talking about what is a sex offender going to be prosecuted under that company name as well. 2363 is that bus number. It is currently 9:05 a.m. Fake sun remains. Directed light while they open and close the doors, and directed light while they cross paths. Alrighty, capturing images. This is a fat white woman with a ponytail. She's got on sky blue face mask, driving bus 2363, and it is at 9:06 a.m. That's a sex offender, and doing so on behalf of a company. But like I said, you have what is engaging in what is such threats, while the entity would have me try to in order to, I mean, that's not really a challenge when you're a stalker and you're just mad because you're being documented, but let me be clear, you'll have what is the waging of false allegations and the entire focus on my defending myself, as opposed to what is an attack by a psychopath, a demon-possessed one, who was hostile to being documented, which is the ongoing context. These demons that are engaging in the system are not listening to any context. They cannot address why I have an enlarged shadow behind me and a shadow in front of me, and while they have double shadows all around. They're not, nor can you even explain that. You can't explain that. All right, those are the hallmarks of what is surveillance as you remain subject to it, an unspoken system. And so while she is providing that evidence against herself, this is a demon that wishes that I would do something of that nature and put hands on her so that she can wage those allegations. Let me be clear. This is an ongoing intent. Criminal summoning is the conspiracy to engage in any manner of what is harassment and or kidnapping. You are exercising fictitious authority under the law. You're the criminal engaging in surveillance. You're a psychopath who's listening and monitoring everything. And then you're arriving as though you are engaging in some investigation when you already know what's going on. That's a psychopath. 8XBE804. And you don't have to rely on, you don't have to establish that. The P.O.C. is already established. You're dealing with what are delusional psychopaths, and I'm going to prosecute. And this is establishing what is that precedent, that legislation that is necessary, and understanding how that system works, why I'm advocating. This is a pattern. You're looking at what is this heavy-duty conduct by law enforcement. This is a pattern while surveillance is underway. All right? It's an ongoing hunt down for some means of engaging in obstruction of justice, and harassment is obstruction. 7HVK115 0233 3F1 license plate 3006432. That's out of state. That's a large truck touching with directed light. License. It's 9:08 a.m. 6V05557 34205P1 14719Z. That's ABC Supply Company Incorporated. All of them crossing paths under what is the fake sun that is remaining stationary at the B&G Plaza, as it is south of me. Like I said, I'm going to capture video of that. You have what is the state that is moving its fake sun, as I am at Metro 102 and I'm facing south, and the state's fake sun is moving west up Hope Boulevard, remaining over me and advancing north as I walk up Lemon to get to the library, which is the ongoing P.O.C, and that is not the sun, as I showed you and as I spoke to, that's remaining over me while I'm already in the city of Pomona, capturing the demons of the Pomona Police Department. That is not the sun that's remaining south of the B&G Plaza that's remaining over me while I still remain at this time at the Starbucks at 111 North Vineyard Avenue. 5VBN 719. I have already gotten on the bus at 8:48 a.m. You're talking about what is East End Avenue and Holt Avenue, 8WVD 849. The entity that is engaging in what is short-mindedness, there is no way to avoid what is documented over a year ago, what was documented a week ago, what was documented yesterday. And you're talking about what is no different. While Satan itself covers up its fake sun, it is not different. You're talking about what is the ongoing presence and understanding what is the a satanic targeting system, which is ceaselessly underway. And you're understanding what is not the sun on any day. When it's documented as clearly the fake sun, 9:57 a.m. over my head at the Ovid Family Community Library, when I'm still at the Starbucks. I'm not facing any direction of the Ovid Family Community Library. And then I get on the bus and I go to Pomona. I don't even come to the library. All right, and that's just one example. And you're talking about at 8 o'clock in the morning, just like today, 8:25 or 8:28 in the morning, the state's fake sun is advanced beyond the Ovid Family Community Library at 630 North Fern. One day of being the fake sun is every day being the fake sun. You hear Omnitrans and that sex offender captured by images as well. License 1545907. All right. So like I said, you have what is one day being shown as the that which is not possibly the sun. That remains the case. That remains the case. I'm speaking to, and I'm also showing you what is no exception. All right, because this is what many that are witnessing the documentation thinking that there's some exception, and it's not. All right. This is indeed, not only is it not the sun, Continue along. The impossible is underway. While that bus of Omnitrans bus number 2363 leaves, the fake sun remains. It's not remaining in the window while that bus is driving down the street, which is impossible even as I document it. That's real-time movement. It's the same thing with the bus going in the opposite direction toward Pomona, but I document that because that's exactly what you're looking at. That's also not the actual sun, nor is it possibly, while it remains stationary here at this same address, the B&G Plaza. While I'm documenting going in both directions, going to the city of Fontana, going to Pomona, and it remains directly over me. That is the direct evidence of what is not possibly the sun, but it goes beyond that. All right, I have literally gone to the heights of showing what is the irreducible evidence, understanding of what is going on in the environment around you, and it has nothing to do with global warming. Global warming is premised on, first of all, the theory that there is one sun. This is not the single sun as we know it, as we learned about, as we understand, as we study. All right, and you're also understanding what is clearly distinct and having nothing. It is absolutely irrelevant to what is the impossibility of the placement, the positions of this light source remaining over me at mutually exclusive locations. You're remaining over me as I'm en route. You're remaining over me as I remain stationary, including in both said circumstances in different cities. So while I remain stationary in Fontana, while I'm en route to Fontana, while I'm stationary in Ontario, while I'm en route to and from, away from Ontario. This is impossible. And then you have where is the state is engaging in, as though the sun is rising over me where it is I wake up, and setting where it is, wherever it is that I remain. That's Aramark going out of their way, not being a distraction. They're going to federal prison. They're on surveillance cameras inside of those facilities, engaging in demonic surveillance, and doing so while present through what is appearing to be engaging in what is their job with the sheriff's department. They're engaged in kidnapping. The pattern of conduct was underway in concert with the people of the state. All of them demons in those jail cells identified as the people of the state. So anyway, you have what is that mutually exclusive content that I have captured, and what is clearly not the sun. And like I said, I have already established this, but I want to recall this is directly and what remains directly relevant to date is what I documented in 2021, in 2020, in 2019. There is no time of day, nor was there while I was in Upland, and the state was keeping a fake sun over me at 713 North Vine Avenue, where my car was in 2019, where I was living in it. Over me in the morning, over in the evening, in the afternoon. The state was present over my head with that. That is not in any way 2019, October 2019, October 2020, October 2021. There is no time of year. This has nothing to do with time of year. I use that analysis because the sun as we know it, and you're seeing what is absolutely irrelevant to any sort of time of day, time of year analysis, because this is blatant stalking with a light source. In no way comparable to the actual sun and what the sun would be doing based on time of year, based on time of day, based on the natural orbit of that light source, that gaseous ball of fire that we understand as the sun. And there is only one. And by virtue of this documentation, and by whatever state you're in, and you're looking at what is supposedly the sun that's over you, that's how you're witnessing what is more than one light source. And that's not the sun, where there is more than one. And there is more than one where the entity is engaging in, which I've documented, keeping a fake sun over the B&G Plaza at 8:25 in the morning, and remaining in the city of Ontario off of the same street, Holt Boulevard, after 4 p.m. Setting, indeed, as I showed you on January 23rd, 2022, setting the fake sun literally on the opposite side of the same parking lot after 4 p.m. All right, there is more than one light source, and it is not the sun. All right, that is understanding what is documentation that is directly relevant to you. All right, and that is Satan itself exercising control over the environment. 1390895, and it is currently 9:15 a.m. And the state's light source remains stationary over the B&G Plaza. I want to speak to, as you hear, and I captured images of what are that sex offender driving Omnitrans bus. This is a fat white woman engaging in what is sexual violence. That company and that third party driving that bus prosecuted for that, as you identify anyone and any method of engaging in this demonic activity, which is accomplishing what is surveillance with communication devices in violation of Title 18. Like I said, you have what is the maintenance of the light source stationary over the B&G Plaza, and it is the ability to capture that on video while I am at this time right now, the state's fake sun is remaining over me while I'm in the city of Pomona, as I have already documented. 1592078, and that's not coexisting. It's not at the same time remaining. 8HJJ270 over me while I'm facing the Amtrak train station and at the Pomona Transit Center, walking through that parking lot off of Commercial and Main, and documenting while the state is moving the fake sun over my head as I walk around getting license plate. And then at the same time, it's stationary over the B&G Plaza, where it's also setting here, because this is where I return to, 8UBK392. That's Satan. That's Satan. That's also Satan that you're witnessing at nightfall while the directed light is present at night. That's what I showed on video. That's what you're witnessing. That's what you see as Officer Gerber, Officer J. Avila, and Officer J. Burnett are present. Those are demons in vehicles as they drive by. Those vehicle lights are formed for what is red and blue directed light all around. It is formed for what is maintenance of presence, demons that want to come and personally encounter me and monitor me in person, and doing so while you are looking at the impossible light activity. 8FFA997, that impossible light activity of what is those officers who maintain, while you're listening to me talk to Officer Avila, while you're listening to me talk to them, who maintain what is impossible light activity. There's shadows. They have multiple shadows stretching across the street. Okay, while they're talking and acting as though they are normal, like it's just protocol, like this is just everyday 7AEW651, all right, like they're just witnessing, coming around and engaging in what is everyday, normal, and lawful police conduct, and it is the absolute opposite of that. 64540U1, and that's why that light activity is present, and I also captured video of that, and what you see, again, in this video that is captured, I believe it's at 8:47 p.m., it's around 8:40 something in the evening yesterday, at 630 North Fern, you see my shadow that is enlarged upright at a distance away from me on the wall, and that address of that where that is occurring is at 403 West G Street. A minion is monitoring at that residence. That's why that light activity is present. The environment is present. It is not only indicating your condition, you're a demon, and you're also engaging in criminal monitoring with communication devices, and it is facilitation while you engage in monitoring. And that was documentation of the police engaging in monitoring and facilitation, present pursuant to what is criminal summoning, which is facilitation, and an attempt to engage in what is kidnapping, essentially. 7 PPC 223. It's not essentially, actually, it is an ongoing conspiracy to engage in kidnapping one way or another, all right? You're talking about what is the many incidents documented already where criminal summoning is the basis upon which law enforcement are present, and then the criminals of law enforcement literally making up information, making up and abusing the legal process and the devices of law enforcement and the courts to engage in what is a kidnapping while the pattern of conduct is underway. And so what you see in this video last night, you'll see my shadow, which is enlarged in size. It is at a distance away from me, upright on the wall, address of 403 West G Street, who I heavily document because I am subject to P.O.C. on that street. And you also see my shadow right on the ground, 2 of them behind me. All right, while you see those demons, police officers that get into 3 vehicles. This is heavy police presence for nothing, by the way. They're demons that want to come and monitor in person. And they're in directed light. And you see also what is then, while the vehicles are drive by, their headlights are not touching me. All right, so you're talking about what is, you see the upright, the large shadow that's on the wall away from me at a distance upright. It swipes away. It disappears. R668PO. It disappears at the same time that Officer J. Burnett, who's driving the first vehicle, crosses path. That's impossible light activity, and it has nothing to do with his headlights. His headlights are not touching me. I'm on the side. They are driving in front, and headlights are not aiming off to the side and such that under any circumstances is my shadow going to be moving, in other words. Nor is it going to be appearing. You see how that shadow, that second shadow disappears, and my first shadow remains stationary. These are demons. It's demonic. 12617T1, 7KFC 906, 8SVY 287, 8JTM 280. Let me be clear, that same demonic environment remains right now. Satan is hovering over the sky space under what is no longer concealed as in your face, and you don't even know it. That's not possibly the sun. 7EAZ618, license 5GGW943, license 8ZAA173. And that is Satan that's hovering over me right now. And Satan maintains presence over my head, focused on me, just like the rest of these demons, focused on me. All right. And that environment is exactly what is serving to what is surrounding the government, surrounding the people with that evidence, because this is how you're engaging in what is federal stalking. That environment. This demon license 6PAX748, operation of communication device and directed light on the asphalt while crossing path under what is the stationary light source in direct conflict with ever being present over the Pomona Transit Center. Like I showed you in video on 2 separate occasions for NMG 149. It's currently 9:21 a.m. See license plate 8MNP 488. Pepe's towing crossing path. And understand, under this deliberately maintained environment, that is going to the prosecution and federal prison for criminals acting in a commercial manner, such as Aramark, who cross path at the moments that they do in the environment that they do on purpose. 7MTL326. All right, that goes without saying, but I'm making sure I specifically, explicitly state it because I'm going to prosecute them. And that's what you're understanding. It's a deliberately maintained environment. This is how you also know it's the mark of demon possession. You're stalking with light while directed light is occurring. D, it's towing crossing path. You're engaging in the same kind of, and it's not just Aramark. Bill and Wags tell they like to engage in that. They're going to federal prison. I documented their criminal summoning at their tow yard after they stole my property with the Ontario Police Department. All right, it's the same pattern of conduct. You're understanding what criminal summoning is, and I documented they're going to federal prison. But not only that, they engaged in theft of property, not just my car, but everything that I owned inside of that car, which is irreplaceable. All right, exceeding monetary value. You cannot replace what was stolen while you're engaging in what is state surveillance. That's a pattern of conduct. They're going to federal prison. 7GAB124, 6RIU895, 35048L1, 8GTG826, 8B11716. 95010R1, that's Spectrum, 8YJZ252, 4XTX222, 9F06611, that is VRGS Trucking Incorporated, directed light on the asphalt while that demon drives by in that truck. Chapel of Towing, lesson 7S94048, license 8VZZ002, 7WFZ498, and it's 9:23 a.m. License 8VYL307. Blackface demons monitoring another African American with law enforcement, having nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. That's not what's going on in California. All right, these are demons, and it's a satanic targeting system. 886NM-5, I believe. Can't really see that one. That's a different looking license plate. License 8ZHH863. 8UFS788. 7TSL390. License plate 8BHU967. And it is 9:23 a.m. So I'm spelling out and speaking to what is directly relevant to what I'm documenting right now. Because as I spoke to and as I was documenting those demons and I was telling her, the Officer Avila was saying, oh, you don't have to, he was saying, which I found funny, but he was like, okay, well, you don't have to, what was he saying? You don't have to speak so loudly or whatever. First of all, let me tell you something. When I got out of the vehicle, after they engaged in asking a bunch of asinine questions that they already knew the answer to, knowing that there was no grounds for them to arrive anyway, getting that phone call, somebody's taking pictures, so what? Is somebody stripping off your clothes and taking pictures of your new body? Are you being restrained? Did somebody steal your car? Did they break into your car and take pictures on the inside while you caught them breaking into your car? None of that. You're talking about she's taking pictures, so what? There is no side of the story. All of this is audible activity, indirect light, P.O.C. P755798, I believe. That's a federal plate. Can't really see it though. License 8T99655. 5ZSX370, 5R32688, 0554OY2, 7WBK535, 8HEV162, 4NU695, 4NUU695, 8MKS277, PTRSBLT. So you have, let me get these license plates real quick, hold on. 8YNB896, and this demon license plate, HCK323, directed light on the side of the ground while that demon drives by. It's 9:25 a.m. and it is that simple. Directed light is engineered light. It's impossible light activity. And also, that's not even the sun that they're under. Then that's how you know that. It's not even the sun, first of all. And then second of all, that's not even sunlight. 8HQS247, that's impossible light activity. Never naturally occurring under any circumstances. All right, so, and I have hundreds of videos, over 600 videos showing what is the stalking conduct of what are demon-possessed people. And that is also helping those understand how very common demon possession is. It's not some super extreme, extraordinary circumstances. No, it's not. Satan is hovering in the sky space as you know it. You think it's the sun. Actually, you shouldn't think that anymore, because it does not take a rocket scientist in order to understand how what I'm documenting is applicable to you, because it's not possibly the sun any day of what is remaining, some light source that's remaining literally on the same street. And that's what I document, and I continue to document. And so you have what is remaining exclusively in Ontario on Hope Boulevard, centered around me, jumping from literally one side of a street to another. That's what's going from B&G Plaza to the Ovid Family Community Library. And that's when I remain in Ontario. Even so, I went from B&G Plaza to the Pomona Transit Center, back to the B&G Plaza to Ovid, and the state engaged in setting its fake sun, 87531G2, after going westward, much west of this city, returning back, step by step, I documented that, and then engaging as though the sun is setting. All right, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department crossing path under that fake sun. All right, they're demons. So, like I said, and their demon possession is also demonstrated inside of their own facilities on surveillance cameras. So, you're talking about what is going to federal prison while you're monitoring documentation of the fact that you are engaging in federal stalking. All right, and doing so in the position of law enforcement. You are unfit for that position. You're a criminal, and a demented one. 1465900, I believe. Anyway, it's currently 9:27 a.m. I want to get this demon engaging in surveillance under the fake sun, 4POB056. And it's 9:27 a.m. Alrighty, this demon, documented on video, engaging in terrorism, directed light, 7DHE547 is crossing path, license 8TCD238. License 8PY4579, Washington, 7D76724 for WDG 339 8YMB 715 5X21997. And this demon captured on video, stalking in the parking lot, directed light moving on the upper portion of the Next Generation Insurance. He's stalking and terrorizing, 6R52306. License 75860J3 8RJK535. And I did capture video of what is the state's fake sun that is remaining stationary, contrary to video that I show at 8:48 a.m. where I'm on the Omnitrans bus and I depart from B&G Plaza, and it remains in the window of that bus over me, street for street, turn for turn, which is ongoing documentation. As I documented, I've left this venue of B&G Plaza, and it is necessarily moving in order to remain over my head while I'm on the bus, as I show, for example, while I'm on San Bernardino Avenue at the Ontario Airport, driving north up Archibald, and then turning east onto Inland Empire, which is the Route 61, driving north on Sierra Avenue, arriving at the Fontana Metrolink train station over my head. That's street for street, turn for turn. But you have in direct conflict with that the stationary presence of this light source here at this bus stop. All right, well, Omnitrans is engaging in what is prosecuted as a sexual molestation while stalking with the state, monitoring with the state, touching with an instrument of criminal conduct. That is directed light. Impossible light activity that is never occurring, even if that was the sun, but it's not the sun, because at the same time, I'm also at 8:48 a.m., 5WBM246, already en route to Pomona. And I'm showing you what is Tacos Mexico's at the intersection of East End Avenue and Holt Avenue in Pomona. And you have what is the maintenance of a fake sun in the window of the bus over me, which is why I'm able to capture that video. That's why I'm capturing it, so you witness the impossible. That is witnessing the supernatural. It is the presence of Satan that is hovering over me while I remain subject to the state surveillance system, and it is entirely demonic. All right, and so you have what is in conflict with all of that at this same time, again, while I'm capturing that video, which is at approximately 9:27, 9:28. You have what is the state keeping a fake sun stationary over the B&G Plaza. I have already traveled to Pomona. This same time, I've traveled to Pomona and I remain there. I'm documenting the minions of the Pomona Police Department, like I promised them that I would see them later. BPZS064, 8HOY633, 7KPU290, and I'm not done with the Pomona Police Department. I have a wealth of documentation of what they were doing while I lived in my car in 2018, 7NRB113. And they would engage in terrorism and stalking at the Starbucks that I would walk to from my car as it was parked on Valley Boulevard. And the state was keeping a fake sun over me there. 8KMW304. And that is documented as a video. That's for you to see. 8P72682. 8SSK463. All right, and that is in no way coexisting with what is, again, the maintenance of that which is not possible to send as I remain in the city of Ontario and then going to any other city. All right, you're talking about what is before I knew that that Satan itself was hovering in a light source. I knew Satan surrounded by the demon possessed. I was documenting them. All right, I knew that these freaks were following me around, and so it's a matter of establishing how such a system operates and how you actually prosecute that, because this is the malicious design, thinking that you can never prosecute what is a stranger. All right, that's supposed to be the allegation of a paranoid schizophrenic. That is textbook P.O.C. 46107X1. So you're talking about what is creating what is the P.O.C. And let me be clear, license 11335567, that's the demon of Sheriff's Department, crossing path again under that fake sun that I just captured on video. All right, so Swift Night Transportation Holdings Incorporated, crossing path. So you have what is the state engaging in this conduct, as I documented in Pomona, nowhere. I'm not near Hope Boulevard in Ontario. I even traveled through the city before. The state would keep its fake sun over me as I traveled through, just like you see now. All right. If I leave Ontario, what is the state doing with its face? It remains directly over me. But that does not mean that there's no light source that's remaining. That's how you have a light source that's over me in Pomona when I'm living there in 2018 in my car. What do you think is keeping it sunny in the rest of the country, in other words? Okay, because it's not one sun. You're witnessing how this is present. It is not the ubiquitous presence of the sun. You are talking about what is Satan that is engaging in what is not natural whatsoever. This is supernatural. It is wicked. It's demented. This is stalking with a fake sun. Many, many fake suns, not just one sun. 81554B3. And that's how you have that. That's how you have what's supposedly the sun in Florida, while keeping a fake sun over me in the city of Ontario on one street, Hope Boulevard. Like the sun is rising and setting. That video that I just captured right now, it is directly relevant to January 23rd, where I'm showing you what is that which is supposedly the sun setting over this same parking lot. It's in perfect alignment with me on the opposite side of this parking lot. All right, that's not the sun. It is directly relevant to what is going on in the rest of the country, because that's not the sun that's over them. Why? There's only one sun, and I'm showing what's supposedly the one sun. That is not at the same time remaining present everywhere else. No, it's not. Let me show you these demons. Hold on. Alrighty, I just wanted to get the Ontario Police Department real quick. So like I was stating, you have what the entity engages in on an ongoing basis, which is speaking to, again, as I stated earlier, the bottom line being the entity is engaging in making its own bed. The pattern of conduct has been laid out. You understand what it is that I am describing. When I'm talking about elements of monitoring. Monitoring with communication devices, this is the obsessive concern. Satan wants to keep tabs on you, and that's just the raw form of it. All right, these are the demon possessed in the positions of government, in the position of law enforcement, engaged in a comprehensive system. That's what criminal summoning is about. These demons then calling the police while they're already monitoring. They're already monitoring, okay? So they're monitoring together, and then you're calling the police for the police to have what is the outward appearance. This is the shell. All right, this is the outward exterior that these demons are relying on. Oh, we just arrived because we got a call and we just wanted to come and find out what's going on. You know, what's your side of the story? While a fake sun is over you, while directed light is molesting, that impossible light activity is all around, you're understanding what is surveillance. So you are talking about what is summoning that is of a criminal nature, which is essentially a conspiracy to engage in kidnapping. You're going to federal prison for that. 7CJ8752, 6FGN360, 41590M2, that's Enterprise. 27459Z2, 7UOA304, 8FYR372, 6TGU436, 8SCO533, 8HKL202, 6XLW900, Frontier Communications, crossing path earlier, and this is U-Haul crossing path, 8EFB585, 8EXW646. And so that's necessary to understand because there are many methods to engage in the P.O.C. by criminal summoning. You engage in criminal summoning where you don't even have to call the police on the target individual. You're summoning the entity acting via fire department, ambulance, or police, and they're in relevant position, creating the ongoing elements of monitoring while they are in fact monitoring you. That's what I documented while the group stalker with the license plate ONTFIRE is crossing path while we're on B Street. The demons of the Ontario Police Department using their vehicles as light activity. The fake sun is over my head while that demon under the name of Tracy Banks, license 4WON432, is in relevant position in the car. The fake sun is remaining over me while she is driving from what is 630 North Fern and then turning onto what is B Street to drive onto Euclid Avenue. The state is keeping the fake sun over me. It's passing over the Ontario Town Square. The vehicle, the environment is speaking to the focus of demons that are surrounding. It is not a traffic stop. That was P.O.C. 8TXN710. And that is also the form, the malicious form where, police officers are engaging in criminal conduct and engaging in what is waging false allegations such as obstructing of obstructing the lawful arrest or exercise of authority by an officer that's engaging in what is criminal summoning, engaging in what is criminal surveillance, and then exercising fictitious authority under the law, and then waging some false allegations. That's exactly what Officer Jay Burnett did. He's engaged in P.O.C. That's why he's able to pull out his cell phone and play back an argument that occurred between Tracy Banks. You're talking about 10 to 15 minutes before she ever called the police, before he ever arrived. The argument occurred, and then BRAAMAA. The argument occurred, and then she goes outside to the parking lot. Fake sun remains over me as I leave her apartment after her, walk to my vehicle at 713 North Vine where it's parked. All right? Then she's calling the police outside. How does Officer Jay Burnett have an audio on his phone where I hear my voice and I'm telling Tracy Banks if she puts her hands on me again, I'm going to hurt her? I heard my own voice. All right, well, I'm already handcuffed, I'm already kidnapped, and you're talking about literally playing this on his phone with all his papers in his hand, and he's just literally making up charges. Just making it up. 6LLZ540. That's an idiot. The same idiot that arrived last night, the same idiot that arrived on August 24, 2021, the same idiot that also arrived again at Starbucks where I was documenting the P.O.C. You're understanding how all of this is tied together? All right, and how law enforcement engages in the P.O.C. while they are criminals wearing those uniforms. Not only is he going to federal prison, you're understanding what is the wider context. Criminal summoning is very instrumental. It's an instrumental component with regard to what is a means of engaging in surveillance. It's elements that underway. When you want to engage in the summoning the entity on the target individual itself, you're going to federal prison. You're going to federal prison. But let me be clear, it is an equally violent threat, all right, an equally potent threat where you are summoning the entity in relevant position to the target individual. All right, so you're engaging in what is arriving because somebody broke into your apartment, and the apartment is directly across from the Ovid Family Community Library. So the police are across the street. They got their lights on. They've got overwhelming police presence. They even have the fire truck and the ambulance there. They pull out all of those demons, okay, for everything. All right, because they're engaging in surveillance, period. But you have what is criminal summoning appearing on the outward to be distinct and separate, having nothing to do with the target individual. 8VOA192. What is the target individual going to do? You're going to document the environment. They're doing so under a fake sun. They're doing so in directed light. They're doing so, even their vehicle lights are a means of method. All the entity does, Satan itself, uses red and blue colored directed light. Equally impossible. All right. But like I said, remember the environment. These demons are relying on the external appearance of what they look like. They're relying on some position of being above suspicion because they're maintaining those positions of law enforcement or being some fire department employee or being some paramedic, and they don't even have that credibility. And let me be clear, all of that's removed. You are literally a puppet of Satan under the fake sun. So you're showing them in the true nature that they maintain. These are pathetic creatures who are using that position, which should otherwise be used for very important and vital things, to engage in stalking somebody. As you're an inferior, defeated creature, you're nothing but a creature, an animal. All right, and this is nothing that is above any sort of suspicion whatsoever. License 4MO8798 8JGP 527. I can't really see the rest on 17155Y2 GUFP Incorporated 1565574. That's their California number. So you have what is the entity engaging and relying on that. That is how the pattern of conduct operates. All right, so like I said, engaging in criminal summoning is going to be, and it is necessarily so, based on the pattern of conduct, based on the way the entity uses that to engage in what is kidnapping, to engage in the maintenance of elements while they're placing you under surveillance, which is a threat to your life. acting in concert with demons that are the people of the state. This is a comprehensive system, and it's demonic activity. Understand that. Demonic activity is not based on some status, oh, it's the police versus what are ordinary citizens. No, understand in the spirit, these are demons, they're all acting together. These demons are necessarily playing positions in the natural, as though they are separate and apart on two different teams, if you will, by law enforcement position versus some ordinary bum on the street with a shopping cart. All right, to you on the shell, on the exterior, they're separate and apart, having nothing to do with one another. Understand, these are demons, and they're monitoring together. That's the reality. All right, they're in the same exact demonic environment. They're all under the same fake sun. They are all demons stalking in the path together, stalking with audible activity, engaging in that identical behavior pattern, demented together as one. It's not separate. All right. And so there is no classification. There is no hierarchy with regard to what are Muppet puppets of Satan. Understand that. All right. And there is no whatsoever any surpassing any above any level of suspicion whatsoever where the pattern of conduct, the government has no credibility. And I continue to document that because it's necessary to understand with what is necessary policy in order to prosecute. Yes, it's interstate stalking, 18 U.S.C. section 2261A, but it goes beyond that. You're talking about what is the absence of any credibility of every level of government. All right. And I have approached that. I've gone to the Superior Court, the Appeals Court, and the Supreme Court. License 7KXJ749, speaking to what is engaging in that identical pattern of conduct of facilitating and obstructing what is justice, denying legal relief that I'm fully entitled to, and not even based on any like deep legal theory. You're talking about service of process. This is very basic. This is the entity's intent to engage in to engage in avoiding prosecution exposure while engaging in the P.O.C. Hold on one second. Alrighty, getting this pot-belly demon, driving bus number 2342, African-American male, sex offender, molesting, under the fake sun that remains at B&G Plaza at 9:47 a.m., license 1545798, P.O.C. Alrighty, so like I just captured right now, 9:47, 9:48 a.m. Let me get these license plates. 6EYY543, 6YXK867. I captured on video so that you can witness what is the maintenance of stationary presence, as I've already documented. But I'm giving you another illustration. While I'm remaining stationary at B&G Plaza, as opposed to when I'm coming from a venue, which is east of this location, the Starbucks, at 111 North Vineyard Avenue, and then I'm on a bus and I pass over B&G Plaza, license 8MXX150, passing over B&G Plaza, and then I get off at what is Lemon and Hope Boulevard, and then I walk to the Ovid Family Community Library where the state arrives with its fake sun that is not present. That's how I'm able to face south and show you what is through the driver's side of the bus, what is the fake sun hovering over my head. Okay, hovering over the B&G Plaza. This is the maintenance both before that time at 9:47 a.m. and remaining now at what is 9:51 a.m. where I have also shown you what is the fake sun that's already above the Ovid Family Community Library. The state's fake sun is in nowhere in that direction as I am facing south, showing what is the state's fake sun where it remains right now, where you saw Southwest Airlines hovering under that fake sun over me. That is the same concentration of activity and relevant positioning by demons flying commercial airline planes. All right, and so this is where the state's fake sun is. It is nowhere near the building and it is directly above the building, as I documented on January 19, 2022 of the Ovid Family Community Library. Also documenting at 9:57 a.m. the state's fake sun remains present over me, over the B&G Plaza, in conflict with that actually being the sun, as I'm showing you while I'm on transit, on public transportation, passing by, coming from east of the location of the B&G Plaza and passing by it, and you see that fake sun not remaining stationary. You don't see that fake sun as we are approaching, becoming in alignment with it, as it's already in the direction of the B&G Plaza. No, you see that light source that's in alignment with me, moving in real time and advancing over the property, passing over the property, remaining over me, and then arriving at the whatever venue that is, be Pomona. And as I documented, going to the Ovid Family Community Library at 10:06 a.m. But again, it's 9:51 a.m. The state's fake sun remains at the B&G Plaza, as I showed, as just right now at 9:47. I'm standing at the same position, and there is no light source in the direction of the Ovid Family Community Library. Also, there is no actual sun that is also setting over the B&G Plaza after 4 p.m. There is no actual sun that's setting in alignment with the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library, because that's not the sun that would be present over that building already if that was the actual sun. It's not. This is Satan itself that's exercising control over the environment, following me with that light source as I go to that location. Okay, that's why it's not already over in that location. That's why it's south while my back is to the location and the direction of the Ovid Family Community Library. It's in the entirely opposite direction. Not present. It is not also over my head, in other words, at the same time over the Ovid Family Community Library. No, it's not. It is the direction I'm facing. It's right here over this parking lot and remaining stationary, as opposed to what is documentation where it's not present over this venue and it's moving over the venue while I'm on the bus. Okay, the same bus that you see, the same bus company, not the same exact bus. The same bus company, Omnitrans, that then drives, I'm documenting them while they're engaging in sexual violence, and I'm getting those sex offenders pictures, and they drive off, and what is going on with the light source? It's not being present, captured, while it's stationary here, also being over the Ontario airport, also being over the Fontana Metrolink train station. No, it's not. It's remaining right here in Ontario, okay? And that's exactly what that ongoing documentation demonstrates. Stalking with light, which is what demons are doing while directed light coexists with their crossing path, which is exactly what they're doing in the vehicle that this entity is stalking me at. AWZN 842, where this entity engages in criminal summoning. That's why they're going to federal prison. 8LVL 966, 92036H2, 8KJX 753. This entity engaging in what is placing a fake sun above the Ovid Family Community Library entrance area and then keeping it for the duration of the day. 8EWD 278, 5KFU 356, 7RNY 595. In doing so, let me be clear, remaining here present, and I'm going to show you that in video as well, because there is no mistake about what the entity is doing at the Ovid Family Community Library. They're going to federal prison, all right? And that's exactly what I punctuate with those that want to engage in criminal summoning. I've already established it, but like I said, there is no question, there is no reasonable question about what I've shown, but you want to engage in, I'm going to concentrate on your federal imprisonment. I'm going to concentrate on that. Make sure that that's sealed up nice and tight, because that's not the light source that's over your property while you're engaging in that criminal conduct and stalking me in the bathroom with my panties down. 8MAF 931. All right, so it is currently 9:55 a.m. I'm going to show you what is the absence of any light source, just like I showed you at 9:57 in the morning while I'm already at the Ovid Family Community Library. What I've already documented at 9:51 a.m. I've documented this 9:18 in the morning. I have documented the state placing the fake sun over the library itself, the side of the library where I stand at the entrance, not where I'm standing at the front porch and facing the McCarthy. This is in June 2021. There is no time of year and no variation when we're just switching our clocks forward and backward 1 hour, where that is going to be the actual sun that's over the library building itself. I mean, literally over the entrance door. And why? Because at that time, the entity was aiming directed light all day long through the entrance, over the elevator and down the staircase, which is impossible light, engineered light, and you can see that through the shadow conduct, and the state will place a fake sun directly over that building. All right, the state is engaged in all manner of vacillating with the placement of that fake sun that is nowhere in that direction right now. All right, it never is following me, and that's why I can go to Pomona at different times of the day, and you have what is maintaining a fake sun over me as I do so at different times of the day, which is to the departure from any placement of what will be the actual sun if it was indeed remaining over the Ovid Family Community Library at 10:06 in the morning, for example, or at 9:51 in the morning. It's not. And I'm going to show you that in video right now. It's 9:56 a.m. License plate 8JOK218. License 04749G2. And I captured video of that 9:57 a.m. Till approximately 9:59 a.m. Documenting what is the fake sun that is remaining, which is Satan itself. All right, Satan itself remaining over me over the B&G Plaza as I face south. 45405X1. This is a pot-belly Latino male driving AccuTrust, a commercial vehicle, and touching with directed light while doing so. All right, this is the mark of demon possession and a sex offender. It is currently 10 a.m. on the dot, and the state's fake sun, as I showed at 9:57 in this video, is remaining over the B&G Plaza as I face south, and I'm just punctuating, connecting those dots with regard to what is a prosecution by an entity that is engaging in surveillance in an environment where Satan is hovering above and it's not the actual sun. This is revealing multiple angles of the P.O.C. 1356974. First of all, you have what is understanding demonic activity. License so participated by 6YOZ533, a demon stalking in the parking lot and directed light swiping all across the storefronts of Next Generation Insurance, right? Next Insurance, just like I showed you on video earlier. And so you have what is understanding what is demonic activity. What is the presence of Satan in the environment, hovering in the sky space, which is not the actual sun. All right, and it is also relevant to what is Pacific Standard Time. And it is also to the exclusion of any other state, while this light source is documented remaining over me for the duration of the day on one city, in one county, on one street. I am also showing you what is the mutually exclusive positioning while I am at B&G Plaza facing south, showing you the fake sun, showing you its stationary presence, as opposed to reminding you about the video where I'm coming from a different location on transit, all right, on Omnitrans, and then driving past the B&G Plaza at 9:47 a.m. and the state is moving the fake sun over the property, not having been remaining stationary like it is today over me and like I've documented before. All of this is relevant to what I also capture at 9:57 a.m., punctuating the point of what is not possibly the sun, license 72978W1, 8EUH251. What is not possibly the sun, while the Ovid Family Community Library is the direction where my back is, north of this direction, where I'm facing south, showing you what is Center Ice Arena, showing you what is the B&G Plaza, all right? And the state's fixed sun is remaining stationary here. Fluid truck share, license plate, 9HCV32, and touching, reaching out. That's a demon focused on me, touching and reaching with directed light. You have what is the entity engaging in what is maintaining this light source that is south of the direction. It is not also over my head, behind me, over the Ovid Family Community Library. That is not what is going on. This is a hovering light source, and it remains over my head, as I show in video as well. In the same way that you see it remaining in alignment with me while I'm on transportation, it remains in alignment with me over my head as I walk to the Ovid Family Community Library. This is the absence of the light source above the Ovid Family Community Library building, as opposed to the light source that is remaining, not as opposed to. While you are looking at the light source over B&G Plaza, it is the absence, necessarily so, from being anywhere over the Ovid Family Community Library at 215 East C Street, contrary to what I documented at the same time while I'm already at that property. 8NQW639, and it is relevant to what those demons are doing at that property while I remain subject to surveillance. 7U51969. 62681P1, 8RYZ567. And let me be clear, what these demons are doing is I'm documenting directed light and molestation as you see it on video. That's exactly what the entity is doing while I'm inside of a vehicle at nightfall, inside of a car where this entity is engaging in that ongoing surveillance, stalking me while I'm sleeping in a vehicle. That's how obsessed and that's how pathetic Satan is, and that's how pathetic these minions are, including those that are wearing law enforcement uniforms, which would have you thinking that they're important. They're not. They're demons. They're pathetic. 7ZAB120. They're sitting around on corners in relevant position all night long in fire trucks and vehicles, monitoring what I'm publishing about them on the internet, trying to slow down my ability to do so, listening to my very breathing pattern. Is she awake? Is she sleeping? Engaging in all manner of demonic activity while they are focused on me altogether. These are the minions of Satan. And Satan is not taking any nap. Satan does not take a break. And this is the ongoing hovering criminal conduct that is interstate stalking by the demon possessed. It is done so through what is a government. These are puppets of Satan in the positions of government. It is public corruption that is made manifest. And that is the presence of Satan itself in the environment. It is the direct indication of what is demon possession. Also, directed light molestation, directed light presence while you're crossing paths, the direct indication of demon possession. That is prosecuted as what is terrorism while you're subject to the stalking by a people who are intentionally present for that criminal purpose. That directed light, not only identifying a demon, it is criminally facilitating monitoring with communication devices, that engineered light. All right, 8TSH103, and this is exactly what the entity is doing where I am at that vehicle sleeping at nightfall, where, by the way, those minions engage in summoning 7NNK649, I believe, Student Transportation of America, 8KYL347. All right, where you hear the entity amplifying train activity now, amplifying train activity at 630 North Fern. You can't hear that over there. You can, in the same way that the actual sun is not hovering over 630 North Fern. All right, that's audible activity. And that is Satan that is remaining over me with the light source, as I am the focus of all of these pathetic demons that surround as well, including Tracy Banks. That's why the fake sun remains over me while I'm in her car. All right? She's a minion. She's an inferior creature. You're talking about what is the difference between flesh and blood. Let me be clear. You are more composed of what is of spirit than you are of flesh and blood. She is an inferior creature who is being documented as well. 8GGZ202, engaging in that obsessive stalking conduct on behalf of government monitoring. NMZ1356. License plate 93218, and it's currently 10:06 a.m. and there is no light source above the Ovid Family Community Library, just like I documented on the morning when I'm coming from Starbucks on the Omnitrans, passing over B&G Plaza at 9:47. You see the fake sun moving over the property. It's not already here, all right? And then you see, I show you on video as I arrive at the library at 10:06 a.m. The state's fake sun is over the library as I arrive. That's called following with a fake sun. That's why the state's fake sun is remaining here at the B&G Plaza and not remaining over in the window of any Omnitrans bus, let alone any other vehicle of what are minions that are group stalking while Satan is hovering over me. I am the focus. That's why Satan is hovering in what is a light source that is not the sun. And that's how you're also understanding what is the environment and the exercise of control over the environment. And it is nothing to do with the explanations that you've been given about global warming. Global warming relies on the notion of there being one sun, and there is not one sun. There is not one sun on any day. Okay, it doesn't change on the next day when I'm showing you what is the impossibility of a light source being over me in the morning at one address, B&G Plaza, and setting in the evening on the opposite side of the same street, that is the Ovid Family Community Library, let alone setting over the same address after 4 p.m. That is to the exclusion of any other location because there's supposedly one sun. That is the direct evidence of it. But I have a term of years of documentation where the state is engaging in this conduct. 7DEF648, 8YFN564, and as Satan engages in that, you're talking about what is literally making its own bed. All right? It's demons that need to be identified. They are identifying themselves. Okay? And that needs to be, and somebody obviously needs to know that. And that's why it's being revealed. 6LQD926. The reason why it's relevant because you're going to prosecute the demon possessed. That stature, that condition, that circumstance is a matter of what is terrorism. 8WAS626. That's how you're getting to what is directed light while you want to monitor and you want to touch. That's getting to the sex offender that is a terrorist, a violent sex offender threatening your life while monitoring you with the government, engaging in stalking you in the bathroom. While that directed light is in the bathroom, oh, you're talking about all manner of a prosecution. Showing the sexual violence of a people. 72751W2. The sexual violence of a people. That's why directed light is in a bathroom, ladies and gentlemen. 7NTA540. All right, and that is entirely demented. License 6Y65207, 5VIH731, and it is 10:08 a.m. and the state's fake sun is remaining over the B&G Plaza. And I went on ahead and captured an image of that. There's no mistake about it. But like I said, when I say something is going on, that's exactly what's going on. Yeah, I captured an image so you can see that, and that is while I'm facing south. My back is to Ontario Town Square Townhomes, and my back is to even the direction of the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. So you are what is necessarily the absence. It is not coexisting. You do not have some light source that's also over the Ovid Family Community Library or directly over your head. No, it's not. It's not both over my head and behind me. The entity that is Satan itself is following, keeping it over my head as I walk to any location. So in other words, if I were to get on one of these buses, guess what? The fake sun is no longer going to sit still over the B&G Plaza. As I've shown you in video, it moves with me where I go. That's Satan. That's not the actual sun. That's not the actual sun. And you're understanding that the presence of Satan all around you. All right, because that's not the sun over you either. Where I'm documenting this documentation, again, it's not individualized. This is with regard to what is relevant to you. And why? Because there's only one sun. And I'm showing you how this is not the sun, and this is not possibly the sun that's over me, and it's not the sun that's over you. This is the maintenance of control over the environment by Satan itself. 8KPL532, and the exercise of influence over people who are demon possessed while Satan is hovering in the sky space. License plate 6SMP526. License plate 8XDC468, and it is 10:10 a.m. Seven JBX061, 8GNU 981. It's 10:10 a.m. This is P.O.C. Oh, let me get the sheriff's license plate 1500464. CRUZTRK 7RNK077 6NX R878. It's 10:10 a.m. 21816J2. That's Hedrick and Young Plumbing. They are sex offenders and demon possessed ones using company vehicles to engage in monitoring American citizens. 8YQD154. And it is again 10:13 a.m. Burtec crossing path. We captured what was Lopez group stalking in a Burtec vehicle yesterday, where I am walking toward, and this is after the 8 o'clock hour, and the state's fake sun is already advanced north up Lemon. It's remaining at B&G Plaza, where 70284H1, that is Burtec, is crossing path, and it's 10:13 a.m. This is P.O.C. right, license 8LXJ405. 8DRS409. 64454D2 7UGU400. Pepe is towing. License PEPES14. 6LGW156 7EFH 469, I believe. I can't really see it that clearly though. License 1302445, bus number 1333 at 10:14 a.m. 8U72224 7XYD 814. I'm sorry, 8XOY 814. 8YHH855. 7BBS 821. All right, on Omnitrans arrives at 10:15 a.m. just to engage in touching, okay? They engage in stopping and getting close to the curb based on where I'm sitting and molesting with directed light. Stopping, nobody gets off the bus and nobody gets on the bus. They're just stopping to engage in the P.O.C. 71824M2 00121C3 6JBG 579. And it is not different when a minion is stalking in the path getting on the bus either. I just want to be clear. But this is none other than a POC of a sex offender that wants to touch with directed light while they're engaging and monitoring with communication devices, doing so under what is a company name to be prosecuted as Omnitrans. And also that sex offender doesn't want me to capture their images. And that sex offender is Omnitrans and that driver as I identify them and or capture their images, by the way. That demon doesn't want me to capture their image. 5VOL440. It's currently 10:15 a.m. DTRUHEO. All right, it is 10:18 a.m. And this is the absence of any light source above the Over Family Community Library, by the way. And this is where the state's keeping a fake sun over me while I'm at the B&G Plaza. 8CYC012, a sex offender, engaged in an ongoing demonic molestation, touching all over me while they're stalking in the path. License 7TFK026. License 7YTM335. Demon driving a Montessori school vehicle. 7YPW689. 6TCK213. 8FNC257. 8N36575, I believe. Can't really see that one though. 4RRY671. License 8LUY691. License 8RKA219. License 7VBE126. All of them demons. You even have what is flashing light appearing across their license plate as I fix my vision to that. They're all demons. And they're all sex offenders. That's exactly what they're going to be prosecuted as. 7ARC581. 8ATF247. Is that a T? Yeah, 8ATF247. FVM875. It's 10:19 a.m. VJH 759. Seven VBJ 084. License plate 5, let's see, RBA, I can't see the rest on 22788E3, 5GT642, I believe, substantially somewhere, 7NND630, UPS entering into the plaza under the fake sun. License plate 8EPB. I can't see that one. License 70841E3. 0410N2, I believe. I can't see the rest of them though, but I believe I read that one already. It's a white pickup truck. It's an old Toyota pickup truck. License 7XAB385. S.I.R 721. 8CNY 909. And while the state is keeping the fake sun over B&G Plaza, remember what I documented about the Fontana Police Department while they are in that driveway at the venue where I'm standing, and the fake sun, Satan is covering up that fake sun that remains over my head. And then I'm at the Fontana Metrolink train station at this time, and the state shines it right over my head at that train station. MBK 3315. All right, and I document that in approximately 10 minutes from now. That is coexisting as well. Where then the state's going to follow to the OVIT. 8SCV 791 to the OVIT Family Community Library. This is ongoing, tethered documentation. And they're going to be prosecuted as the sex offenders that they are. So like I said, I'm not just documenting these demons by license plate, but the presence of the state's fake sun is what ties the entire entity together. And this is state surveillance, and that is terrorism. While that very common, impossible occurrence of directed light and that which is not the sun remains over me and molesting on a constant basis, that's how you're understanding how strangers are engaging in stalking. That's how strangers are stalking. Rider crossing path, going westbound on Hope Boulevard right now. It's 10:23 a.m. License plate 5WVG602 8KZJ186. 8NIN 881. License plate 7GUC 868 8UKP 869 8ZJ. I can't see that one. Just got that one. 91914L2. 8D31346. 8CRY 410. 8FME 955. 4MZ0083. Engaging in surveillance in front of Ontario Town Square townhomes, parked across the street in a white SUV. That is referred to relevant positioning. Omnitrans Supervisor number 487. It's a gray, dark gray a dark gray SUV exiting out of B&G Plaza at 10:25 a.m. That is Omnitrans engaging in P.O.C. as well. License plate. Let's see. And that white SUV engaged in surveillance now drives the opposite direction. That is east on Hope Boulevard at Sultana at the red light. P.O.V 768, 7PVY 628, 8GXB 471 07809Y1. It's 10:26 a.m. License 6YMV173. License 8SVN516 7YAG070. What else am I documenting? As I went to the Pomona Transit Center at a later hour. All right, this is what I did on recently coming from the Starbucks at 111 North Vineyard Avenue, where the state's fake sun remained over me until after 10 a.m. Remained over me as I showed you the video of the fake sun moving over B&G Plaza as I then proceeded to Pomona. That is what I'm documenting as well. License plate 1929. Oh, I can't really see that one. 8NVY254. And remember, that is the unmistakable presence of that fake sun while I went to Pomona on that day and did not go to the Open Family Community Library. Did not arrive until after 12 p.m. to the Open Family Community Library, where the state followed with the fake sun over me, which I also showed in video as I walk north up Plum through the City Hall parking lot, and I show you the fake sun hovering over my head as I'm en route to the library, and that is the absence of any light source. That would be the sun over at 10:06 in the morning. 7275 1W2 6CYZ 402. Eight 86194 P2. FedEx crossing path going westbound. It's 10:28 a.m. Eight LSB. 8L8. Oh, I can't really see that one. You can scratch that one. 7RAV 3. 7RAV 636. 3DLTO69 8TBR 409. 7UHH 154. 71881C3. 8YTK 245. 3711W2, I believe. Can't really see that one though. 8MSV 339, 5ER, I can't see that one, 5ZJV 130, 7ZTP 867. License plate 7SJX538 4EYF859 6EFB879, I believe, 5TUX596. WFZ997. Can't see that paper plate. License 8NJX102. Leaving from B&G Plaza at 10:30 in the morning. BF77696, I believe. I can't see that one though. That's a paper plate. License 8NJM600, 8PWJ288, 4689782, 1234516. That is Omnitrans bus number 1224 at 10:31 a.m. 5WSN075 28033S1. FedEx crossing path again for the third time. going down Plum to Holt. 6EDL 401. (8YRB 114). License, let's see, 4GSF 809, 402, 47R2, 8P12918, 7KHK 901, 8PES 664, 888-3183, 8GDF 636, 7WRP 874. And that's Omnitrans that you hear pulling off at 10:32 a.m. Again, that's bus number 1224. Directed light moving across the sidewalk as they cross path. License 51963D3, 7YZU 115, coming from B&G Plaza. Let's see, 8BGD 952. ZAH 625, coming from B&G Plaza, engaged in ongoing loitering. So that's surveillance conduct by a third party. City of Ontario, license 1580340. 5X, I can't see that one. 73562U1, 8CLL 494, 6U, I can't see that one, 8PWN 609, 5W5 8925, 7CCB 650, 8XMN 081, 6EJN 855, 5EKV 221, 8ULG 796, 7Z 92522, 7CZS 837, 8H 83560. You also recall the documentation where I'm showing you why I'm remaining at the Ontario Fire Department and the state's keeping a fake sun over my head. Document the demons of the Ontario Police Department at approximately 9:52 a.m. until 9:55 in that video. And I remain in the parking lot of the College of Law, University of LORRAINE, which again is east of the location of the Ova Family Community Library, which I show you in that video, 7AEW 651. And then I'm showing you what is the surveillance conduct by that Ontario Police Department, a demon. At around this time where I'm in that parking lot remaining, and the state's fake sun is north to be over me at that parking lot. It is remaining south of over the B&G Plaza. 8XDX 619, 7XTH 127. And then I go to the Ova Family Community Library again at a different time, and this fake sun remains over my head as I walk to that venue. All right, license 8KLB011, license 8LGD716, excuse me. And I also compared that to, remember the documentation where I'm already present at that area in between the senior center and the 280 North Limit apartment, sitting on that bus bench, and the fake sun is right over my head. This is at approximately 10:30 in the morning where the state's fake sun is remaining over me, which is north of this location. 8UVX670. The state is keeping the fake sun over the B&G Plaza, in conflict with that as well. All right, it is not in front of me in that direction whatsoever. This is license plate 8ROU699. None of that is coexisting with remaining over me while I'm going to Pomona. 6BJC006, 5EVE056, 8HDE 477, 8RQF 852. None of this coexists with documentation of remaining over me at Mercy House either. 4548, I can't see that one. You can try that one. 02706C1. Mercy House is located at 435 South Bonneview, where I documented in 2021 the state keeping a fake sun over me while at that property. 5V73135 for the duration of the day, no matter how long I was there, and then engaging as though the sun is also setting, aiming directed light inside of 435 South Bonneview, and also engaging and following me as I would walk up Bonneview to Hope Boulevard, remaining over my head as I would walk to the library or to the museum, wherever it is that I would walk, including to the B&G Plaza. All right, all of this is mutually exclusive. This is showing what is stalking with a fake sun. All right, license plate, and that's again time of day, time of year analysis. 7LJV059, 7JBY450, 8YJZ572, 7R91759, 5CTK446, 4VGH634, bus number 1363, Omnitrans, loitering at Lemon and Hope Boulevard, 4ZXN314, 6CGJ721. It's 10:37 a.m. License plate 6015883, I believe. 8RFU007. DZL 897, 7FF, I can't say that one. 7UVR 308, I believe. 8TEP 977, 7NMD 647, I believe. 37, I can't see that one. You can scratch that one. License 7NBS 089. 7NMA 849, 76940R1, 11613D1, City of Ontario, license 1514629, and a dumpster truck, and there's no vibration of the sidewalk or the bus bench or the ground or the street, and that's also not occurring while the dumpster truck, while they're stalking me while I'm sleeping inside of a vehicle while they're driving by at 630 North Fern Avenue. Those are demons while that sensational activity is being created. License 78201T2, 8 CDM 383, 8 KZM 775, 8 AQH 013. And this one right here, B&G Plaza, license 8A QH103. See, Hurries Up tries to put on her sunglasses in case I take pictures of her. I got her license plate. It's 10:40 a.m. License 8 GGW 532, 7 HPF 838, 7 PVB 124, 7 BRT 797, 7 TEU 559, 98524 T2. I can't see the rest of them. That's Flores Trucking. 6 VVF 175. License 6CSE420. Enterprise. And a large truck. License 7687. 7867G3, substantially similar. 8NM, I can't see that one either. 8DMG 585. TEZ63. 81048A1 Lotus Construction Group. 8NTY 333. 7ZYN 567. 90015G2. That's Barbara's Express. All right, directed light swiping across the sidewalk while that demon driving Barbara's Express is crossing path under the fake sun that's remaining over the B&G Plaza at 10:42 a.m. SAE 135. License 91079H2. Rider with a Indiana license plate on the front of it. C093J1. 6FVA 441, I believe. Can't really see that one though. License plate. CA05N35. That's a paper plate on a large white truck. Pickup truck. It's 10:43 a.m. License 7GQK 905. 8VKS 276. 6SMU 145. KC0740, 8SZV096, 8TOH 819, 7LNN 8L2, 62509G3, Tampico Spice Company. Let's see, 8JYOU51, 61716L2, UPS going what is westbound on Holt, turning on Plum. Seven LKM 888, 5 KLA 133, 0942 1T2. UPS crossing path entering into the B&G Plaza. This is the same UPS company engaging in group stalking at Fontana Lewis Library, where I'm showing you it's directly over my head in directed light. On the ground where that vehicle is placed at the Fontana Lewis Library at 10 a.m. as I documented, and this is directly over my head in the city of Fontana. That same company engaging in P.O.C. here in the city of Ontario, where the state has kept its fake sun both before and after maintaining stationary presence at the B&G Plaza. That is how companies are engaging in P.O.C. That is how strangers are engaging in stalking. License plate, let's see, 8HND812, 6EPB170, I believe. License plate, 7WGN504, 6YSY686. 8DIW299, 8BGK446, 8CRH466, 24825B3, 64879N2, 7NPF849, 5150271, 8RST437, 5TFX293, 48231J3, 8RBZ116, 8XRY871, City of Ontario going westbound on Holt Boulevard, license plate 9G4227, United Rentals 79338283. I can't see that paper plate. I will get UPS stalking in the path. License plate 4TAE313 and UPS license 11088U2. And you can see the fake sun directly over the UPS vehicle. Making a delivery is no form, and that is the documentation of the venue, which is B&G Plaza. I'm sorry? Can I help you? No, you cannot. Documenting your presence. Anything else? Want to give your name? Yeah, that's fine. What's your name? Go ahead and, I already did. I don't need your permission. What's your name? Okay, what did I do wrong? What is your name? Oh, okay, then bye. Again, that's UPS engaging in P.O.C. A psychopath. That's a psychopath that's monitoring, creating light activity under the fake sun, monitoring with 7GQK905. P.O.C., they're both under the fake sun. That is the pattern of conduct. It's 10:48 a.m. Those are psychopaths engaging. Can I help you? What are you doing? While they're monitoring. 8BCF 509, 7SAF 430. That's P.O.C. and touching with directed light, and it's also appearing in the shade while that demon drives off. Talking about, can I help you? They're stalking. Light 8SSC 965, 8JBG, 8JGB 143, 7UAE 151, license 6 FGE 656, license 5HKV 433, license 8XOY 720, 8BBN 682, 4HTPO 76, 7NMY281, license 20951G2, 44646E3, 8UFD 107. And it's 10:49 a.m. capturing images of the company UPS engaging in federal stalking and engaging in what is harassment, stating anything to the target individual while you are documenting, engaging in the pattern of conduct on behalf of the government is harassment by an entity that is hostile to your documenting. They know exactly what you're documenting. That's exactly why Satan itself, which is not the sun, is over that vehicle, as I specifically capture for purposes of understanding what is that commercial campaign that I'm revealing about companies in the state of California surveilling American citizens. 98937W2 8YJL815. All right, it's 10:50 a.m. Alrighty, showing you video of the state's remaining light source. Again, not the actual sun, as it's remaining stationary over the B&G Plaza as I capture on video. After capturing still images of UPS engaging in P.O.C. The fake sun is over them while you engage in any sort of form. Like I said, you can water your plants under the fake sun, or you can deliver the mail under the fake sun. You can engage in changing drivers on your public transportation vehicles like Omnitrans does under the fake sun while you're molesting with directed light, which is not occurring even if that was the actual sun. It's the ongoing mark of demon possession and terrorism and sexual violence while surveillance is underway. License 14920J2. You can engage in what is crossing path in a fire department vehicle, just like the Ontario Fire Department did with directed light on the street, 8FDD 763. You can do so while engineered light and while the fake sun itself is over my head is the documentation of what is that ongoing surveillance. 5FJN393. This engineered light, this fake sun is pursuant to what is surveillance by a public entity, the state of California, and it is entirely demonic. 8CNC 765, 72298R1, 8U72224, 61336M2, 7HAE 112, 06255M2, 7KDF 710, license 8 LKG 305, 8UVR 236, 8UPD 172, 6STW 700, 7DVE 730, 7SJL 426, 8XJE 509, 8XO7700, 42567K2, 31994E3, 8UHF 709. Ontario Fire Department crossing path again. It is currently 10:54 a.m. Crossing path under the fake sun that's remaining over me is a stalking conduct by the Ontario Fire Department 6253-2H3. And Ontario Fire Department 1255773. In their state facilitating venue where the state was keeping the fake sun over me before this time, 8YGV251. And over me while I read license plates in that parking lot, 7CKS 202. That is the ongoing direct evidence. In addition to what is that which is not possibly the sun while you are crossing path, that which is not sunlight bouncing off of your car on the street while you're crossing path, and 5XPM 681 crossing path. And doing so while, again, there is no sun that's over the Ovid Family Community Library. That's the light source. That is the fake sun. And that is also exclusive to wherever it is that you are at. While the state is, by virtue of this documentation, it is 2.5 hours remaining at the B&G Plaza over me. As you see in that video also, as I walk towards Shiro's Liquor in the same position. This is Sectran 527MOO. Sectran Security Incorporated. License plate 8XDZ739. Holding onto their communication device while they cross path under the fake sun. It is currently 10:55 a.m. License plate 8PEZ586. License plate 7W05285. P.O.C. 8FDD763. License 8SFP020. 6EQJ965. 8ETZ189, 6RXY460, 4EYF859, and those are, oh yeah, I read that license plate already. It's 10:56 a.m. 8T20406, 8PHC255, 8YOM259, 7FTG854, which has signage as though it's a car off the lot. 8YPY046. Still has like the signage on it as though it's a car to be like being test driven or something. 5ZLD011, 61893B3, 8PSK735, 02688U2, 8NNA111. Yeah. Coltican, this is a coach, number 272. License plate W17SL, license 667H. MHAICE is the back license plate on that Tafesa coach. That's the Arizona license plate on that Tafesa coach. It is currently 10:57 a.m. All right, license. 8FAJ408, 7DAZ443. 5CWY127, 8ZDF550, 8EJB678, 8VPB018, 32337H3, 71038V2, 7837524, 4URF898, 6V40702, 5C, can't say that one, 7XRD117, 33691F3, 8JKX900, 7YRR967, 7B88329, and bus number 1220, loitering at Lemon and Holt, 8UUG475, 7PWR473. It is 10:59 a.m. You have 2+ hours of stationary presence over the B&G Plaza, and then as I leave from the B&G Plaza, this is when the light source itself, this is Satan, as you're understanding the presence of Satan in the environment, and that is the demonic targeting system, while the demon-possessed are engaging in stalking with a government that's placing you under surveillance. And that's how all of those very intertwined and multifaceted levels coincide. All right, it is understanding what is not possibly the sun, and it is Satan itself. License 7RPH785, 8YNC664, 1224731, 6WCR 555, I believe. License 8YGF543, 7U. I'm sorry, I can't see that one. 7DZX178. Tafessa crossing path again, going eastbound. 8XDZ739 is crossing path again. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. Right, you're looking at what is Tafessa, that is crossing path. That's a large coach, and you see the fake sun that's right over the intersection of Holt and Plum as I move. That's nearest the Andy's Burgers and the Enrique's Income Tax. That is the movement of the fake sun over me, while demons are maintaining presence all around. 76872G2 Enterprise. License 7TAT502, 5SGB224, 7FRF767. BIM 401, that's an out-of-state license plate. It's red and white. 8AVM 443. Alrighty, and it is currently 11:01 a.m. where the state's fake sun is remaining over the B&G Plaza, and then as I move from that property, advancing up to remain over me. That is the focus, and it's also an Enrique's Income Tax directed light moving across that venue while these demons whose license plate I'm reading are crossing path. All right, that's the mark of demon possession. All right, and all of these demons are under what is Satan itself. That's not the actual sun hovering over me. 8 POA 706, 6 CSE 420, 7 PDC 206, 8 TCH 127, 8 SAG 872, 8 VUU 808, 8 U.S.U 318, and it is 11:02 a.m. 7 VDR 493. License plate 8FYT801, 8GNT 439, 5AKX 448, 8U17904. Pape material handling, crossing path. Directed light across Enrique's Income Tax, 3-star janitorial while they do so. 6UTZ 386. United States Postal Service, same demons, monitoring and stalking where I sleep, crossing path. Vehicle 720916, I believe, substantially similar. License 7AIM 322, 8EYJ 324, 8PCH 255, 8RQB 877, 7VXA 843. And while that demon with blonde hair is driving the United States Postal Service, directed light flying across 150 East Toll. Absolutely impossible light activity, and that's a demon driving a USPS vehicle. 7XMK047. BF50K69. That's a paper plate. Yeah, and it is 11:04 a.m. All right, license plate showing the fake sun over 3-star janitorial at 11:04 a.m. 7WFG491, Greg Electric crossing path. License plate 7KCD740, 8ZES502, 76847Z1, license 8NIU655 or 8NTU655. That's a Tesla, dark gray Tesla. License plate 7HTB988, license plate 8TWD483, license 8S23420, license 1562885, City of Ontario, license 7PVY628, And also what you're going to pay attention to is as I walk north up Plum, the state's fake sun moves up Plum. As I proceed on Hope Boulevard and go to what is Lemon, that's where the state's fake sun is. Not going up any trail, which again, that's the ongoing precise presence of a light source over my head, street for street, turn for turn, just like when just like when I'm on transportation, any mode of transportation. All right, what you're looking at also in the video, I'm showing you what is a demon raising her hand as though she's praising the Lord. Let me be clear, Satan is hovering above and a light source, and you're talking about what is the creation of audible activity and stalking in the path. That's what that demon is doing on video, and doing so under what is that direct evidence, that which is not possibly the sun, while I'm also, for example, like I pointed out, in the city of Pomona at the Pomona Regional Transit Center, where I went on 2 different occasions at distinctly 2 different times, while that light source remained precisely over me in the same location. All right, it's currently 11:08 a.m. This is license plate 8AES 095, license YP15883. That is Rose Transport Incorporated, US.3719384, touching with directed light while they are crossing path. This is at Metro 102. All right, and that's speaking to the reality of a demon raising their hands as though they're worshiping the Lord. You have what is Satan that's present in the environment, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. 30386F3. 7KNW 402. 8MPG 911. 7RAV 045. 7VPV 745. And as I pointed out in that video that I just captured at the intersection of Lemon and Hope Boulevard, you have what is the state that is keeping the light source, this is Satan. I'm revealing demonic activity while criminal conduct is underway by absolute psychopaths, the demon possessed. All right, and this is Satan hovering in the sky space, which is not the actual sun. You're also looking at what is the absence of any light source above the 280 North Lemon Apartments, remaining over me as I walk to that venue. License 28117J1, directed light in the shade while they're stalking in the path. 6PCV766, the same. License, blackface demons stalking, deep puppets of Satan, monitoring. License Heart ATLAM in a red Ford F-150. I'm at B Street and Lemon at 11:09 a.m. License 8RZS016. All right, capture an image at 11:10 a.m. as I walk north up Lemon Avenue, as opposed to walking north up Plum. And the state keeps its fake sun over me on that street. The state is keeping the fake sun right over me on this street, which is on the opposite side of the apartment. It is unmistakable. It's not over the Plum Street where the Ontario Town Square townhomes are. It's right here over Metro 102, which you see while I'm standing at that intersection. And that is keeping the light source directly over me as I walk north. And it is also while I am facing what is south. And the fake sun is not over the 280 North Lemon Apartment, 7FYN217. 8F46079. 7XJS375, 7CHM952, 8BZS176, 1416303, City of Ontario, 1416308, City of Ontario, 9012081, 8JYY579, BZF8976, McCarthy, license plate 8MSB941, license 7XVW047, license 4MYE347, 8XAT970, 7DNL616, that's paper, 6ZQA344, license 6WDN231, license 7ESC971. And it's currently 11:13 a.m. and I did capture video of what is the state's fake sun that's remaining over me as I walk north up Lemon as opposed to walking north up Plum. And you see that ongoing pattern of remaining over me. The state does the same thing as I come from the Ontario Village Shopping Center and I walk what is east. Well, coming from the Ontario Village, I typically walk what is onto Bonita, and then I walk onto Vesta, and then I walk east on C Street, and the fake sun is remaining over me from that direction. License plate. That's how you're understanding what is stalking with a fake sun. License 8RHA989. License 8G13531. License 6EGC822. Engaging in surveillance Ontario Town Square at Wells Fargo. 4CUU062 12706J2. That's Bali, B-A-L-I, California 105457. License plate 78446L2, 8KSW261, 8HHY868, 7FAS 552, 7PXF 113, 7VEX 574. Now let me show you as I do not go to the library, and I'm standing here beside what is Bali Construction, right next to Wells Fargo, and the fake sign is right here over me. Alrighty, that is on video what you see. Bali Construction Incorporated. 7XEW 383 and license 48658D1. That's Bali Construction. Engaging in P.O.C. under the fake sun. They're creating audible activity which the state amplifies. And this is also the P.O.C. of Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is engaged in the P.O.C. while I'm at the Open Family Community Library. And also while the state is moving the fake sun over that building right here and directed light across the shade while demons are crossing paths. 7VEX 574, 8NUC113, 8RFV281, 5FYY468. All right, well, while this demon is sitting in their car, license 8NUC113. They're monitoring while directed light is moving across the building. They're monitoring while Bali and McCarthy are creating audible activity and using that construction truck to move around, which is light activity, and directed light conduct occurs while they do that under engineer light. Okay, that's what this demon with 8NUC113 is doing at Wells Fargo in the parking lot. P.O.C. It's 11:16 a.m. Alrighty, license. So the video that I captured, the state's fake sun is precisely above me as I stand beside the Wells Fargo, and it is 11:17 a.m. If you recall my documentation, or I've documented this on more than one occasion coming from Ontario Village though, but for example, documenting McCarthy specifically at 10:59 a.m., 11 a.m. as I'm coming from the Ontario Village and I'm walking toward this venue of the Open Family Community Library at a later time. Again, the absence of the light source remaining over me as I approach, and the state's fake sun is over the Wells Fargo as I arrive there at 11 a.m. and then I enter inside of the venue. You're going to recall that documentation where the state followed from the Ontario Village Shopping Plaza. While I remain at the B&G Plaza, the state's fake sun is remaining stationary over that plaza. This is ongoing documentation as you're understanding how it all intersects together, showing what is following with a fake sun. That's not the actual sun, because that documentation is indeed tethered to everything else that I've already reminded you of, citing my presence in Pomona. That is documentation of remaining over me as I arrive at the B&G Plaza, and remaining there from 8:30 to 10:50, 11 a.m., remaining over me as I go to the specific street of Lemon, walking north up Lemon as you see it over the Metro 102. You don't see it over me on Plum. You don't see it over me in the parking lot of the Ontario City Hall, which I would not be able to capture as I'm facing south on Lemon. If that was the actual sun, it would be on the opposite side of the building over that parking lot. This is that ongoing conduct of stalking with a fake sun. It's currently 11:19 a.m.